All right. So, Paresh, so you can like switch on your video and we can start off. Great.
Yes, good go.
All right. So good evening, all of you, and a very warm welcome to another very amazing session on Shiksha. I'm Bhagyashree Gupta, your moderator for this session. And as we know, topic for today's session is all about CUET exam, much hyped about. There are a lot of changes that has happened recently. Also, the entire webinar is all about the preparation strategies and what all you can expect from this exam. Of course, it's a very important exam, we know. And a lot of you, both students are preparing for this exam. So let's just begin off with two of our eminent panelists we have today for this session for the very first time. So let me introduce you Paresh ji from CUET Pro, who is a TEDx speaker as well. So you can understand we'll have a lot of motivational things coming up for the next 60 minutes from him. And we have Mr. Anubhav Rakheja, director for iQuanta After 12. So he handles, After 12 things. Thank you, Anubhav ji, for being part of this webinar. And Paresh ji, thank you so much, both of you, for taking out time and being part on Shiksha's panel webinar and getting connected to all these lovely students out here. So let's just start. And the first thing that definitely I would want to know is all about what exactly CUET exam is, because there are a lot of confusions that students are facing regarding this exam and getting confused with CUCET also. And there were a lot of changes that were introduced recently. So probably Anubhav ji, if you would like to start off with that.
Okay, so even before I start, I think that's the COVID norm. So first of all, let me just quickly confirm that if I'm audible to my attendees or not. So attendees, if you can hear me and if you can see me and every technology is in place, you will quickly go on the chat box and type M for Monday. I would request the entire audience to quickly go on the chat box and type an M for Monday. I think technicalities are in place. I think that's the new COVID norm. As far as your CUET question is concerned, how is it different from CUCET? And why is this introduced? What is it all about? So as far as this answer is concerned, let me be very honest to you. The moment you get to know about CUET, one particular entrance exam has put the Indian education exactly on the global education. Why do I say this? Because even if you look at the last decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, or even last so many decades, anyone who wanted to get into Harvard, तो सिंपल फंडा होता था, हार्वर्ड जाने के लिए भी आपको SAT देना पड़ता था, हार्वर्ड जाने के लिए आपको SAT2 डोमेन एग्जाम देना पड़ता था. And people who are not wanting to get an SAT domain, वो AP देते थे, which is advanced placement test, because that would increase your credits. And third, they were also liable to give this language test called IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo. So if you look at it, whether you want to apply to Harvard or want to apply to SRCC, today the parameter is absolutely same. The first and the most important thing they are testing you is, they are testing you in terms of the domain based subject, जिसको SAT2 या फिर एडवांस प्लेसमेंट टेस्ट के कंपैरिजन में पुट किया गया है. Now, secondly, when you talk about SAT, which is Scholastic Aptitude Test, which is English and Math. So this is completely your general ability test, because this is also about mathematics in class 8th, 9th, or for that matter, this is about general awareness, logical reasoning, and data interpretation. So your SAT, which is the Scholastic Aptitude Test, is now compared to a general ability test. Third, when you talk about IELTS, Duolingo, that was a language test which used to tell that as a person you are eligible to learn, see, write, understand English. तो आप इस country में आने के लायक हो. And that is the reason, if you talk about the language testing, it is about 19 odd languages which will test you that whether you can pursue Indian education or not. So the biggest reason why CUET is introduced, as far as my understanding is concerned, is to put it on a global chart. And slowly and gradually you will see, this time it has only beaten the IIT number of applications, but slowly and gradually you will see a lot of students from Gulf, a lot of students from US, UK, जो पहले NRIs के फॉर्म में जा रहे हैं बाहर, वो इंडियन एजुकेशन के लिए CUET के साथ जुड़ेंगे. So to take it global, that is one primary reason. Now, when you talk about how should they do it, what should they do it, I think we'll go slowly and gradually. But currently, students need to understand that whether you apply to a Indian university or you apply to Harvard, somewhere down the line, the standard is exactly the same. So Bhagyashree ji, if you can just quickly repeat your question. I think I've missed out the second parameter जो आप पूछ रहे थे.
Yeah, I think there was some confusion. There's some changes that were introduced recently
Yes.
in CUET. So if probably we can
Right.
take up that.
As far as the changes in CUET is concerned, CUCET is one entrance exam which is conducted for the last 10 years now. And there are about 16 universities which were affiliated to CUCET, which was Central University Common Entrance Test. Now what they have done is, instead of those 16 universities, now there are central universities, private universities, and there are also state universities like Ambedkar University who has followed the pattern of CUET. So earlier जो 16 years 10 years से 16 universities follow कर रहे थे CUCET, now it is a CUET which is Central University Entrance Test. CUCET ये कहता था that instead we are giving you 3 subjects as your domain and you have to pick up any 3 subjects in your domain and you have to pick up any 2 with an aptitude test. Now what they have done is they have broken into 3 parts, which is English, या फिर वो कहते हैं कोई भी लैंग्वेज के साथ डोमेन, और डोमेन के साथ वो कह रहे हैं जनरल एबिलिटी. आई हैव रेड द चैट बॉक्स. आप मुझसे चाहते हैं कि मैं हिंदी में बात करूं, तो मैं थोड़ा सा स्लो बोलूंगा और अब मैं हिंदी में ही बोलूंगा. तो आपका जो पैरामीटर है टेस्टिंग का, जो पहले आपको दिए जाते थे 3 सब्जेक्ट और आपको करने थे कोई भी 2 और साथ में होता था एक एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट, अब उसको ब्रेकअप करके लैंग्वेज, एप्टीट्यूड और डोमेन सब्जेक्ट में बदल दिया. तो आई थिंक योर क्वेश्चन इज आंसर्ड इनटू 2 पार्ट्स.
Yes, thank you so much for that answer. Okay, so we'll try to keep this in English because there are a lot of South students. They do not understand Hindi. But for them, for those who want to know in Hindi, we'll try and convert certain things in Hindi also. Don't worry, because I have to manage both. We cannot go for one single language. So I'll try, take most of the thing in English. Yes, we will continue in English, of course. Okay, so let's just quickly come to the exam pattern. Coming to Pareshji, you have been a TEDx speaker, have been motivating and talking to students a number of times and discussing so many parameters. So there are certain things that we are seeing recently is that firstly, the exams, competitive exams, which is happening, the entrance exam that they are preparing, along sitting, preparing for their board exam. So that is a thing that is a cause of concern for all the students. And I think on my webinar still now, I have seen this common question that how do we juggle CUET, JEE, CUET managing with boards, JEE with NEET. So there are a lot of things that they're juggling together. So like I have already these questions in my Q&A also, that how do we manage, preparing for this very important exam, preparing for my board, which needs to be given more time and weightage. So how will you suggest them for this?
So I think, yes, it is a tough time. And, this has been the case with, science students for all these while, because if you are doing IIT JEE, you're also preparing for CBSE and you're also preparing for all these other multiple exams. And, BITS Pilani had a separate exam and SRM had a separate exam and some other university would have separate exams. So yes, I think all the commerce and humanities students wake up, so I think this is a wake up call for everybody to say that now we are looking at, multidisciplinary education. And once you're moving towards multidisciplinary education, everybody has to come at the same pace. And I think CUET is going to bring that change around, that, it is going to be like now similar. So, I remember I'm a classic commerce student and I topped my boards and I went to Sri Ram College of Commerce. And I remember it so very well that, I topped the whole state. I was a topper in the country, but I never studied as much as a science student. Right. So science students would always be like slogging themselves out, and commerce guys always had it easy for them. So this has to change, right? So that is the most important thing, that you have to change the pattern and all the students have to start prioritizing. So the game is priority, right? What is priority for you? Very simple answer. If you're a DU material, if you're applying for XYZ university, which is like a top shot university, and you're going for CUET, then focus on CUET. If you're applying for, let's say, a professional exam, then you start preparing for that professional exam. So like CLAT preparation, then you do sideline your, board exams and, start working on that alongside. So yes, prioritizing will be very, very important. And please, yes, it is not juggling alone. It is prioritizing in the right format and the right manner. Now, don't get bogged down. So my classic, statement to everybody will be, see, the syllabus is the same. So I think don't get so bogged down. So you have already had your term 1 in MCQs. At least for all students, you had your term 1 exams in MCQs. Don't get so bothered. 50% of your paper, you're already prepared with the MCQ pattern. Only the remaining 50% is left. Now, if that is the case, then why are you so getting so daunted, right? Syllabus is the same, it's just about pattern. And you've got 1 full month to prepare. So 1 full month of preparation on MCQ based pattern is all that you require for the moment, in my opinion. So take the same syllabus, just apply it through the MCQ pattern, and that should be good enough. And that's the only juggling answer that I would want to bring to the table, that, prioritize. If that is your priority, please keep it on priority. Boards are over. So as on date, forget about everything else. For me, boards are done. 7th is the last exam, if at all we are looking at the dates. So you have another 7 days left. That's all for your board exams. After that, it should be only CUET. Focus on CUET, just attempt it in the right fashion and prioritize. So prioritize the college, prioritize the university, prioritize the course. Also understand the course requirements. So every course has a separate requirement, which is complex. So I think the only complexity which CUET brings in is the entire juggle. Half of the questions will be solved there, because I'll give you a very simple example that I'm getting these days. So a non-math student will come and say, I can't make it to SRCC because I don't have maths. But then SRCC has let go of maths this year. So you don't need to have maths. And that's a wow statement for anybody, that a non-math student can now make it to Sri Ram College of Commerce or BCom Honors in Delhi University. So I think those are those changes. Please read the requirement of every course very carefully. Please read what is required, how the merit is going to come out. And okay, I'll also put the sad part of it here, that yes, it is going to be competitive. It is not going to be a 99 percentile easy. It is not going to be like this, So marks are not going to come easy the way they have come in the last 2 years. They're going to be a tough battle for everything, right? So 800 marks is what you're probably targeting to make it to DU. And I tried attempting a couple of mock papers. To be very honest, personally, I tried it. I am not getting it. And I have been a topper, right? And my entire team is a team of toppers. I've spoken to a couple of them, and it is going to be like every single mark that is going to matter. Right? So one wrong answer will get you -1 plus that 5 which is lost anyway. So technically it's a -6. You lose 6 marks by that, so you have to be that particular in cracking that in 45 minutes. And that is the only thing that I would want to say. So prioritize, take help, go to people, and reach out on what should be a career guidance. People like Anubhav are fantastic, because, they would need to reach out to people like him or me or whoever, and you're doing a great job there to, bring that down. And ask students to say, this is my career goal. I want to get into this, or I want to focus on that. Forget boards. If boards are not relevant, don't spend too much time, and don't really put that to your head.
Right. I think that was a superb answer. And I think a lot of you had this, question, like what kind of, okay, let's just come to solving their questions, because I know they have a whole bunch of questions coming in over here. So Anubhav sir, I'd like to come to you. Firstly, students are very curious to know about the difficulty level of CUET and of course the exam pattern. I could see a list of students asking that please share and discuss more about the exam pattern and the difficulty level that they might face for this. Anubhav sir.
I'll go one by one. First thing is the exam pattern. Yeah. When you talk about an entrance exam in this country or in this entire world, a typical entrance exam is broadly divided into 2 categories. One is a knowledge-based entrance exam. The other one is an aptitude-based entrance exam. As far as knowledge-based entrance exam is concerned, that is about chartered accountancy, jahan pe accounts, economics, maths, business law, business ethics, mercantile law. That is what is checked. When you talk about a knowledge-based entrance exam, it's like engineering, where physics, chemistry, maths is checked. Cost accounting, or for that matter, a knowledge-based entrance exam is like medicine, which is physics, chemistry, zoology, and botany. On the other hand, there is an aptitude-based entrance exam. Now, when you talk about CUET is a combination of both. I repeat, CUET is a combination of both. It will test you on your knowledge-based subject, and it will also test you on your aptitude-based. Because the kind of universities, the kind of colleges, the kind of curriculum they have, it is about different parameters for different university. But we as an individual, as a counselor, need to make sure that what is the most safest standpoint. The safest standpoint is choose English or any other language, which is of section 1. Because you asked me to deliver this session in English, and I know there are a lot of students from South, so the education would be done in English medium. So the first most important part is when you select your language, it has to be English or any other language. Part 2 is domain based, where my suggestion is choose 3. Choose 3 or up to 4 or 4. Though the limitation says you can go up to 6. But if you are choosing one language, you are choosing 3 domain subjects from B1, and you are applying for general ability, trust me, believe me, and mark my words, you are secured in almost all the universities, all the colleges, all the courses. The combination says English 3 domain or language 3 domain plus a general ability test. Then you need not think about it that Andhra Pradesh University is testing only and only on the basis of aptitude test. Then you need not be under those shocks where you talk about Allahabad University for all the courses will need general ability. Then you will not have this problem that BCom honors in Delhi University is not testing you on general ability. You will not have a problem कि अगर मेरे को BMS करना है, then I need general ability. So the safest possible combination for application is 1 language, 3 domain, or maximum 4 domain. Because if you want to increase your chances of accuracy or you want to go a little high on your scores. And third is general ability. That is how you should be reaching the safest option. Because if you look at the entire curriculum, if you look at the entire structure, you would be stunned. You've got about 61 exam combinations, out of which you can go up to 9. So selecting 9 out of 61 will make you crazy. It's not possible. So the safest bet is 1-3-1 or 1-4-1. Now, when you talk about the pattern of the entrance exam, what is the curriculum of the entrance exam? The pattern of the entrance exam is, as far as your language is concerned, you need to apply for 40 questions out of 50, a total of 45 odd minutes. Then you talk about domain-based subjects, which is about 50 questions. You have to select any 40 out of those 50. Total time is again 45 minutes. General ability is about 75 odd questions. You need to select 60. Earlier they said 75 ke sectional cutoffs honge, but now the recent changes, there is no sectional cutoff. So if I don't know GK, I can leave all 15 questions of GK. And I just need to clear 60 questions of general ability, and I'm out here safe applying for my dream course and dream college. Obviously, some students will say, I'm applying only to DU. Why do I need to worry about general ability in terms of BCom honors? Someone will say, I'm applying for a BBA FIA. Why do I need to take a course with respect to B2 subject? But the safest bet to apply is 1-3-1 or 1-4-1. That's the safest combination. Because, students, you need to be very careful about it. CBSE will come up with all the possible statements. NCERT will come up with all the possible statements. But you need to make sure that what is exactly which is available in the market. Now, CBSE or NTA says that we will be testing you only on the basis of NCERT syllabus of class 12. My question is, legal studies as a book is not published by NCERT. Legal studies as a book is published only by CBSE. Now people will say, as far as physics, chemistry, maths, biology is concerned, NCERT is good enough or not. The bigger part of the answer is that PCMB, physics, chemistry, maths, and biology are the only 4 subjects which will have an exemplar. So CBSE gives you an exemplar only for a PCMB. So does that exemplar will help you or not? Answer is yes. So you need to calculate your resources well. And that is the reason that people like us, or for that matter, people like Paresh, I have got 140 blogs at iQuanta just for the reason that there is too much of information which needs to be given. So the pattern is very simple, 1-3-1 or a 1-4-1. And the combination percentile, you cannot judge because it is dependent on easy and difficult. So I hope I answered your question correct. If anything is left out, please tell.
Absolutely. I think I had yes, sir. Would you like to add?
I will add up because I'll share something, and if you allow me, I'll share my screen. Sure. Because I think it will help the students to understand a couple of things. And I'll share. So what happened was that NTA released a mock paper, and they removed it later on. But I'll tell what was there in the pattern. This is the most tentative pattern that you can expect. So this is the tentative pattern of the exam, if I may present it. So this is what we can probably expect out of the section. And if you look at this, this is not confirmed yet. NTA is yet to release the mock paper, and they will do it after the form filling is completed. But they did it for 2 days, and they did for a couple of subjects. So I've pulled this out from those, from those mock papers which are published that time. And this is most likely going to be the case. So section 1, language paper, will have 50 questions, and this is the expected breakup, which will have a factual passage, a narrative passage, and a literary passage. Now, what do we understand by these passages? So factual passages are facts, research. right? So somebody has done some research, so you should be trying to practice a couple of papers, a couple of RCs. And so understand, this is going to be RC, reading comprehension. It is not going to be NCRT syllabus at all. This is not going to come from CBSE material. Okay, this is going to come from any English text. So because this is going to be reading comprehension in variety of subjects and languages, so this will have a factual passage which will be focused on 10 questions of that. So one passage, facts, this is a research based passage. Narrative passages are technically conversational. So they are where somebody is making a narrative, making a statement, more like a story, and more like a dialogue. Literary passages more like the poetry, right? So students are also expected to learn prose and poetries and things like that, and that is going to comprise of 30 marks. So understand that and then verbal ability and rearranging the parts is expected to be 12, and synonyms, antonyms is expected to be about 8, and this is the total of 50. So you have to now strategically plan your question paper to think about whether you want to attempt 3 of those passages and then any 10 from the remaining, or you may attempt first the 2 and then you can go and plan. So I mean, if I were to take the strategy, my strategy will be very, very simple. I will attempt as many questions from verbal ability, rearranging the parts, synonym, antonyms, because they are very fast. Either you know it or you don't know it, so these questions will always be solved in 30 seconds. The remaining, and then you decide how many questions are left for you to attempt, and then attempt factual, narrative, and literary, and have a fantastic accuracy. So this is what I expect out of the exam pattern in language. And this is going to be the domain section. Now, domain section also is not going to be just standard MCQs. This is going to be a case study pattern. And there will be 10 questions on case study itself. There'll be 2 case studies, 5 questions each. So this is exactly what we expect. Then there are standard MCQs, assertive reasoning, correct the sentence, table-based reasoning. So they would want to have, a table and some information given, and kind of analysis of that, and then match. So you have to match the column and match the following. So that is expected out of the domain specific section. Now in this, again, you have to again make a very quick conscious decision. Problem is this with case studies. Case studies always take more time, but then it also helps you to solve 5 questions in one go. So what should be the pattern is what student will need to prepare and start acting smart on this side. So this is what is expected. The general ability side is going to be, certain questions on GK, and the remaining questions on aptitude, which is going to be quant abilities up to 8, 9 standard. So that is the primary plan. I would slightly disagree with Anubhav to the extent that if somebody is planning to go to only DU, right, like a student like me would not want to spend time on preparing for general awareness. Okay, because my strategy will be very clear. I am going for SRCC, Hindu, Ansar, Kirodimal, Ramjas, that's my top priority. Or I'm going for a top league college. I don't want to spend any time preparing for general studies. That's not going to count for my course. Right? So you have to take a very conscious decision. Where do you want to have so many options at all, or you want to narrow it down? That's a very personal choice. So I'm not saying this is for everybody. Anubhav is right for most people, but not everyone. So if you're a topper material, you are expecting like a 99% kind of a thing, then my statement is very clear. Focus on domain, focus on getting everything right, and get your accuracy perfectly calculated. I think that is exactly where I would want to go with. And there is a negative marking, there is a negative -1. So accuracy is going to be extremely critical in this examination. So students should not try to just attempt. I mean, so that's a classic problem in MCQ. You're always tempted to attempt, let's try it out. So that should not happen. Students have to be very careful, very meticulous, and timing of 45 minutes. So 45 minutes, imagine you have to do 40 questions. Technically, you're talking about 1 minute per question. So the other strategy with the student will have to figure out is which topics can he do faster and which topics can he do slower. If he's fast at one particular topic, he has to take that up. If he's slow at certain things, he has to say, I will not touch this topic. This is not my forte. Right? So like I tried doing this English passage yesterday, and I realized that for me, literary is not my cup of tea. I would go factual, I'll do narrative, I'll do verbal, I'll do vocab, but I'll not do literary because literary can be extremely crazy sometimes. So yes, every student should plan what are they good for and what are they not good for, and then plan their exam pattern. So I think this is something which I wanted to add up. Yeah, but that's it.
Sure. I'll just like to add another thing to it, Parish sir. Like, since you spoke about the entire exam pattern, and I think all of you have noted down that, could you also just tell them about the marking pattern? Because a lot of them also want to know, like, what kind of marking pattern is there for CUET exam?
So marking pattern is very, very clear that marking pattern is +5 for every correct answer and -1 for a negative, for a wrong answer. Now, I can talk specifically for DU and depending on different colleges, but DU will look at language +3 most of the cases, except for the management programs of BMS, BFS. They are looking for the maths and aptitude test, right? So let's look at the normal domain knowledge. So let's say I want to go for psychology honors. Now, if you're wanting to go for, let's say, psychology honors, you need to have language. You need to have 2 from B1, 1 from B2. If you have given more than that, so let's say if you have given 4 domain subjects, they'll select the top 3, right? So technically, they're looking at 4 total subjects. So total 4 subjects, every subject will technically carry 200 marks. Because 40 marks paper, 40 into 5 is 200. So total score will be calculated out of 800. So your merit is out of 800 now, right? Now start thinking that merit list will be now calculated out of 800. So if you can get 800 on 800, then the next count will be actually 795. Because if you miss out one question and you did not do anything wrong, then the next number will be 795. Then it will be 794, one incorrect. So you actually have to start thinking that 1111 mark is what you're going to lose for every correct or incorrect answer. Right. So yes, you will have to start planning that out. And that's the answer to your question, Abhishek. Am I audible?
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you now. All right. Thank you, sir, for that answer. So I think all of you have understood the marking pattern and the exam pattern. Coming to Anubhav, sir, firstly, one question is about the syllabus. Like a lot of them have this confusion that preparing only from NCERT is more than enough, or there are other books or source that they can look up to, like what they can look up to more.
Okay, so I'll just continue where Paresh left. First and the most important part is when you're talking about various subjects with respect to English domain and you're talking about general ability, you need to check with the university what is the exact weightage. Because in certain courses, even in Delhi University, English or any language what you're applying has just got a weightage of 30%. Various universities with respect to Ambedkar University, Banaras Hindu University, they are checking you with the language concept of only 50%. So the total score valuation, the 50% of the scorecard or 30% of the scorecard will be only from the section of language. So as far as the marking scheme is concerned, you need to be very sure that what kind of section is given, what kind of weightage. Don't expect that all the sections, whether it is general ability or English or any other language, or for that matter, a domain subject will have equal weightage. Answer is no. Now, when you talk about what are the material, what is it available, it is clearly says NCERT of class 12th. But you also need to make sure the moment you apply for economics as your domain subject, they are asking for microeconomics. And for the last 4 years, microeconomics has now been shifted to class 11th. Also, students would be confused that with respect to when you talk about NCERT, when you talk about class 12, when you talk about exemplar, or for that matter, when you talk about MCQs, in CBSC, I'm not talking about the state boards, I'm not talking about the other boards. In fact, almost all the boards in year 2021-22 academic year has cut their syllabus, has cut down the syllabus short. The reason why they have cut down the syllabus short because of the COVID. So when they have applied for an MCQ in term 1, a lot of syllabus was not included. It is now included. So PCMB exemplar will play a very, very important role because that is where a lot of question bank stays. As far as other subjects with respect to pol science, psychology, sociology, history, geography is concerned, NCERT is the key. And now when you talk about accounts, economics, maths, business studies, and all those commerce subjects, again, NCERT will play a very, very important role only for class 12. Please note, economics class 11th, microeconomics is also included. I repeat, economics class 11th, microeconomics is also included. So multiple choice based is totally a different ball game other than subject. Because if you are applying and if you are looking at the marking scheme, you need to be very, very careful. I see the CUET website being posted. I see a lot of information traveling because NTA, National Testing Agency, has a fantastic history. If you look at various entrances, the history says when you talk about NTA, there are some questions which are absolutely wrong. Because when they release the answer key, when you talk about various entrances other than CUET, all right from JE to other entrances, what NT has been conducting, there are some questions which are completely wrong. Now, as a wrong question, what would be the plan of action for a student? Galat question hai, kya karenge? They will not write the answer. If they don't tick an answer, they will not be awarded even a single mark. Out of the 4 options, if they are marking the wrong option because the question is wrong, the text is wrong, the pretext is wrong, they will still get marks. Now, students who are from CBSE board exams, those who have applied for term 1, you've seen the English exam. English exam said 4 options, 2 of the options were very close. In certain answers, all 4 options were correct. And similarly, NT, when they will conduct their entrance exam, the questions will have where 2 to 3 options might be correct because there is a clerical error which can happen. Now, if you don't mark those options, you will not be awarded a score. But if you mark any of those options, if the question is wrong, or even if the question has got 2 more options, you will be awarded marks. This is written on NTA website. So please be very careful about the information until unless you don't talk to your mentor, until unless you don't talk to your teachers, until unless you don't talk to us or any one of us, you will not get such answers. So marking the question, even if it is wrong, is important. Marking an answer, I'll say. Marking an answer, if you've got 2 to 3 options correct, that is also important. NCERT is the key exemplar for PCMB and microeconomics of class 11th. I think this is a summary of this entire answer.
Thank you, sir, for that answer. I think a lot of them have. Okay, we are trying to discuss a lot of things. Also, sir, I just want to know, there are few students who would like to know a bit about CUET PG. So can we share some information for CUET PG as well? Paresh sir, if any information we can share with them?
To be very honest, I have not looked at CUET PG so much. Okay. This has been there all the years. There is no change in the CUET PG, section as much as I am aware of. But yes, I mean, the PG colleges are also looking at CUET as an examination and entrance test for future. But yes, I'm probably not the best qualified for this at the moment.
So probably some of the students who all are looking for CUET PG, I'm just sharing a page with all of you over here. Probably that would help you regarding the webinar. In the case that you might have certain queries for CUET PG exam, important notification. So for all of you, there's a relevant page on Shiksha. So probably you can just click on the link and have all the relevant information for CUET PG. But if there is any more query for PG, you can just connect with us post the webinar, right? So we have Ask Shiksha. You can just drop your queries over there and probably we'll have experts connected with you, okay? So just coming back to, our section, and we have a lot of queries coming up. We have all the information on website. Please have a look on the website. I'll probably pick up some questions from the Q&A. So there are a lot of them, who want to know that they are from a non-maths background. So probably if they want to sit for that maths exam, will that be okay? Also, a lot of them want to know about the economics part, like will that be necessary for to take BCom honors also, and on what basis they need to select the college while filling up the form. So what all criteria is there for that? So if we can start part by part.
Wow, there are too many questions actually. Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the maths portion, maths question. So number one, I'm surprised to know when students are saying we want to sit for the maths exam. I would rather say people say we don't want to sit and we don't have maths, and can we still apply? Because that has been the case so far, that a lot of universities and a lot of colleges made maths compulsory. With CUET coming into picture, a lot of courses are now available to non-math students also, which was not the case earlier. So a classic BCom honors at DU is now available. A classic BCom pass course is now available to students, which was not available till now. So that is one side of the story. The other side of the story is, can you sit for a maths exam even if you have not studied? ultimately, this is absolutely allowed. You can take more subjects than what you have studied. If it is allowing 6 subjects, you can go up to 6 subjects. But DU, as in, if I look at the DU advisory given specifically, then DU advisory is very clear that they want only those subjects that you're sitting for under 12 boards. They're looking for the same subjects in the CVT examination. So this advisory has been issued as a special notification, and they have specified, but all other universities, there is nothing. So I'm assuming that all other universities are open to any domain subject, that they can look at. So this is answer to the first question. What was the second question? Economics on.
Yeah, I think a lot of them also are looking at taking up economics, for BCom honors.
So it is not compulsory. I mean, for BCom honors, depending on the university, there are different requirements. Some of them are asking for language plus general aptitude. Some of them are only asking for language plus accountancy. If I talk specifically about Delhi University, they are saying 2 requirements. Okay, English or a language requirement. So that is one part. You can have any other language also, but primarily it looks like English as the base. Then they require maths or accountancy as a choice. So you can either do maths or accountancy, and then any two. And any two from the B list, which has to be at least 1 from B1, and the second one can be B1 or B2. So I mean, students can again, I'll again share the list of subjects if they want, and I can again give me a second. I'll just open this pattern, and I have the list of B1 and B2 also for everybody. So I'll just share that screen so that everybody can get a sense of it. So this is where we are, and this is the list of B1 and B2 subjects. So if you were to, let's say, take an economics honors, then BCom honors, then if you're looking for BCom honors, then you take either maths or accountancy, you take English, and you take anyone from B1, anyone from B2, or both from B1 and 0 from B2. This is the minimum requirement. For economics honors, the requirement is very different, because there you have to have a language, you need to have mathematics, and then any 2 other subjects. So English and maths technically become compulsory, and then you have to look at any other 2 subjects. So this could be anyone, and out of which only 1 can be from B2. So the only restriction at all exams at DU is you can't have more than 1 B2 subject. So if you want to take entrepreneurship and mass media, or entrepreneurship and physical education together, this will not count. You have to have only 1 B2, and the remaining can be from B1 list. So this is the second question, that if you're looking for this kind of a subject, and this kind of a combination will work. What was the third question, Bhagyashree?
Yeah, so probably they were also looking at getting into DU and looking for taking up different subjects. Like for DU, they are looking for English, they are looking for honors. So is there any different criteria for particularly getting into DU colleges?
Oh, Bapre. So this is a huge list, and I can tell you, look at this. Okay, every course has a separate requirement. If you go to Delhi, okay, and there is a separate site created by Delhi University. Okay, and you can go to the admissionuod.ac.in website, and that categorically mentions every course. So if you are looking at a BA course, a BA economics, BA honors languages, BCom honors, BSc, all of these, regular BCom, BBA, BBE, BVOC, if you go to the site, it is a very specific combination. So for example, if I look at this one, BBA, BBE, any 1 language from list A plus mathematics plus section 3, which is general test. So this is exactly where the merit is going to be as a combination here. So it's a very different combination. On the other side, if I look at, let's say, BA economics honors, they need to have, or a BA course, look at this combination. Any 1 language from list A, any 2 subjects here, or any 1 subject from B1 or B2. Similarly, combination 2, or list from language, any 1 subject from B1 or B2, and section 2 general test. So they are allowing general test as an optional thing for BA courses. So yes, this is a little juggled up. You have to be very, very particular about what course you're applying for. Look at the eligibility criteria and then fill up the form.
Right, absolutely. I think this is a well explained thing that they can get note of. So we are already discussed, like all of you, we are discussing the entire thing. So just keep a tab like what all we are discussing here, right? So let's just quickly move to some other questions. Coming to Anubhav sir, of course, the preparation strategy, especially for language, general awareness, reasoning sections, what all tips they can keep in handy while sitting for the exam, and what all, for the last month, I would say preparation, what all they need to keep in check and, prepare as in revision kind of thing for the exam.
So Bhagyashree, first and the most important thing is students are not used to of giving multiple choice based questions. In fact, last time the term 1 was the first time ever they appeared for an MCQ based, prior to which they were definitely appearing for HOTS based question. But now MCQ played its own role, and that is the reason you saw that English paper was for a toss as far as CBSE is concerned, because there were multiple answers. People thought there were a lot of problems. And I think students who are listening to me can definitely relate to this. But whenever you're applying for a multiple choice based question, there are some guidelines what you need to look at. I've been doing this for last 16 years, and that is the reason whatever I have learned from my own experience, I would say the first and the most important part is, like even Paresh mentioned it earlier, that things what you don't know, you need not take it on your ego. Say, for example, I'm good at permutation combination and I'm good at permutation combination. I've been doing some excellent questions in permutation combination. How is it possible कि मेरे को exam में permutation combination आ नहीं रहा है? Relax, calm down. If you're not getting it, it's okay. You are given choices to duck about 15 questions. So the first and the most important part is you need to know which questions you need to duck. And that is the reason calculating your strengths and weaknesses is a most important part to begin with. Secondly, when you are appearing for an entrance test, it is not a matter of solving the question. It is always a matter of choosing an answer. You don't need to dig your entire floor and take out oil out of it. You already have 4 options in front of you. So either you know the answer, or the other way of looking at it is you know that these 3 are not the possibility. So if these 3 are not the possibility, definitely the answer is the 4th one. I don't know the correct option, but I know that these 3 are wrong because I've heard about these 3 options earlier. So elimination is the key. Don't take questions in terms of ego. Second, elimination. Third, and the most important part when you are appearing for a general ability test is your comprehension skills. Don't read the entire question, break it into parts. And even before reading the question, look at the options. Because that is the key to success when you solve an aptitude test. Look at the options before you read the question. I said it earlier, you need not solve the question, you need to choose the answer. Next, the moment you talk about comprehension skills, the moment you talk about language, if you look at it, even when Paresh showed the entire table, it is about comprehension skills, reading comprehension. I would say an apple a day keeps a doctor away. One reading comprehension a day will help you clear the CUET entrance exam. Because by the time you reach your CUET entrance exam, you would be done with about 50 reading comprehensions. If you even look at the previous papers in terms of aptitude, when you talk about IMs, or you talk about CLAT, or you talk about any other aptitude test, more than 30% of the English is dependent on only one topic, which is reading comprehension. In fact, if you look at the paper of CLAT, 100% questions for English is reading comprehension. If you look at IMs, 30% of English is based on reading comprehension. So one reading comprehension a day will keep all your worries away. That is another rule, a standard rule to appear for an entrance test in terms of general ability. You also asked about question with respect to general ability ka general awareness kaise prepare kare, current affairs kaise kare. It is very important. It is very easy for any individual to stand up and say, okay, this is the book which contains 2000 questions, 15 questions isi mein se aayenge. When you are given 2000 questions, 15 to aa jayenge. The idea and the most amazing part is when you give only 30 questions and out of which 50 appear. Because current affairs, if you look at the last decade, all current affairs in all the entrance exams is dominated with only 5 topics: sports, polity, amendments, books and authors, and important personalities. So if I divide my current affairs properly, if I divide my current affairs into these 5-6 categories, the chances of getting my question, the chances of getting the correct question is high. That is how you prepare your general awareness. You need not study about mountains every time. You need not spend so much of time on geography and history. Do spend. They might feature in your entrance exam. But at the end of the day, specifically if you are looking at current affairs, divide them into these 5-6 categories, because that is about a tried and tested formula in other entrances for general ability as well. I already told you, as far as science students are concerned, don't forget your exemplars. As far as PCMB student is concerned, the moment you talk about language, reading comprehension is the key. NCERT नहीं मिलेगा तो CBSE पे वो book मिले, CBSE पे sampler पे वो questions मिल जाएंगे. So commerce students stick to NCERT, stick to CBSE. Science students go to exemplar. Humanities will stick to NCERT, and that is how you look at the question papers. There is no harm solving question papers of term 1 CBSE. I know the syllabus is only about 50%, उसमें से भी कुछ deleted था, but those questions are handy. And the maximum questions what CBSE teachers have already told what the problem was, assertion and reasoning. Assertion and reasoning is one set of questions what CBSE students have faced problem in their term 1. Assertion, reasoning, conclusion based questions, inference based questions. Please note down these terminologies: conclusion based, inference based, and assertion based, assertion reasoning based questions. These are the biggest problem areas. Now the last topic which was left for general ability is logical reasoning and data interpretation, puzzles, groups and conditionalities, simple arrangement, linear arrangement, complex arrangement. These are puzzle based questions. One puzzle, 5 questions. Even if you look at the format which says case studies, or if you look at the big questions having subset of 5 odd questions. So comprehension skills with respect to puzzles and everything is a very important part. So CBSE general ability language, I think I've covered all the topics with respect to your preparation. And I'll still leave this question with the statement: at least one reading comprehension a day will increase your chances to get into a great college and a great course.
Absolutely. I think a lot of you had the question regarding the preparation. So I think sir has cleared that very well. What all is there, what all you need to prepare. So I think if you're just concentrating on this webinar, you are ready and you are ready to sit for the exam, right? So another important question, I'll come to Paresh sir. Time management, again, it's very important for them. Like if they're sitting for the exam, if they are doing, mock test and preparing for mock test. So firstly, like how they need to balance out time for, sitting for mock test, preparing and giving time to each of the subject. And also, once they're in the exam hall, dividing time for each section, so that they are able to complete the entire paper on time. So it's all about time management. How should they go for it?
Absolutely. Time is going to be the most crucial. Now, there are a couple of things and couple of strategies that you can do when you are managing time. Okay. Now, let's look at 45 minutes. Now, out of this, assume 5 minutes are spent across roaming around, navigating the question paper and, reviewing, blah, 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 marking, flagging, whatever. So I would technically say 40 minutes for 40 questions. So you're technically breaking it down to minute by minute per question. So you're looking at per minute, 1 minute per question. Now, what should be the preparation? So when you're preparing for your studies, there will be certain topics that you're good at, and there'll be certain topics you're not good at. So for example, I may be good at functions and I'm not good at probability, or I may be good at, micro, but not good at macro, whatever. So, I would have to first distinguish my question paper into those segments. Also, I'll give you another example. There are certain questions which are very long questions. Like in accountancy, there are certain questions which are very easy, but they take a lot of time to read and just calculate step by step. So now those are long questions. They do take more than 1 minute. So what you have to start identifying while you're preparing as a practice session is which questions do you take more than 1 minute and which questions do you take less than 1 minute. The questions which you take more than 1 minute, don't attempt them. That should be the strategy while you're planning those, 10 elimination of those 10 questions. Very, very important that you plan out 1 minute per question plus 1 minute, less than 1 minute. Oh, I will take this up. If it is taking more than 1 minute, I will not take this question up. Same thing, you also have to start distinguishing between easy, medium, and difficult question. Now, what I understand out of this and entire pattern, my discussion with the teachers who are preparing this, the question set for NTA, they have told me 2-3 things. Okay, number one, they have told me that the term 2 syllabus is going to be little heavier than the term 1 syllabus. Okay, so students are expected to study more from the term 2 than from term 1. That is number one. Number two, the difficulty level of the question paper is moderate to high. There are at least 10 to 15 questions which are difficult. There are about 10 questions which are super easy, and the remaining are moderate. Now, what every student has to start planning is attempt the easy ones, attempt the moderate ones, and identify which ones are hard ones and not to attempt them. So that is the elimination strategy that the student will have to do. So that is another time management that the student has to start planning very, very carefully. Okay. Now, come to the exam date and exam time. When you are looking at the paper, you should only attempt those questions which you're confident about, because there is negative marking. And this is not going to be a random attempt to attempt the entire question paper to get some XYZ marks, because it is a highly competitive. See, look at the number of applicants. We are looking at 11 lakh applicants already. I mean, so is it any more simple? My answer is no, it is not simple. I mean, if I were to look at Delhi University North Campus, a BCom honors, you'll have only 400 general seats. And out of that, we are looking at 11 lakh applicants total in a CUET examination. So understand that every single mark is going to be important. Please do not just do, random ticking. That tukka is the wrong method of attempting this paper. Please, go question by question in your examination hall. Number 3, while you are during sitting for your exam, during that time, please keep a watch on the time and be very clear about time. If any question is taking you more than 1.2 minutes, skip that question. It is not worth attempting at all, right? So that is another thing. Otherwise, you'll not finish off the paper. Somebody is questioning that, can I leave more than 15 questions? You will have no choice. 45 minutes, the question will stop, the paper will stop, it will be submitted, it will move to the next paper. And that's exactly how it's going to be. So, there will be slot 1 and slot 2, and they are 3 hour plus slots. So you sit for one, your slot gets over, next paper, slot gets over, next paper. And that's what you can expect out of that entire situation. So if you do not attempt as many number of questions, paper will be submitted. It will move on. So that is something which, you will have to look at. And so I think these are the things to remember.
I'll do a little addition to this.
Sure,
the most
sure,
important
sure,
part, I think, for this entire audience, specifically the students who are listening, maybe not to the parents, but to the students who are listening to me, please make sure that you are in a habit of digital reading.
Yes.
Gone are those days where there was a pen paper based question, because whatever the inputs are, whatever the number of questions are, whatever the answers are to be there, they are all digital reading based. Yes, there is a chance, because you are good at technology, you are great with respect to computers, Netflix, Amazon, which is going in your life. But there is a very important feature what you need to check, especially when you're giving a mock, is mark and review. Mark and review is the key which will change the game as far as a great score and a good score is concerned. Because the moment Paresh said that there is a question which will take more than a minute, and there are questions which will take about less than a minute, you will have some balancing equation. I've done a question in 30 seconds. There is another question which will take 1.5 minutes. 1.5 minute question, I might not appear, but I'll do a mark and a review. So mark review will play a very, very important role as far as your entrance is concerned. And as far as time management is concerned, please make sure that you're doing enough digital reading. Because if you're not doing digital reading, which we are not in the habit of, then all of us will have that problem. And again, I think Paresh has always been a 99 country topper. So he looks at SRCC and he looks at the top of the game. But I'm someone who's always been, doing my education as a roller coaster, upswing, downswing, upswing, and downswing. So I would say there are 7,755 seats for BCom honors in Delhi University. There are 2,755 seats for economic honors, and there are 7,938 seats for BCom program. But all said and done, no one takes this away that there are 11 lakh plus applications. Yes, the applications are segregated into courses, are segregated into universities, are segregated into colleges. And because CUET introduced at this time, the highest number of applications have gone for science as compared to commerce. So the numbers are bound to increase. Competition is definitely higher than previous years. There is no doubt about it. The only piece of advice as a mediocre student I would want to give is have some backup options, because those are a little safer ones. And don't get into those colleges. They're absolutely fine, but there's no harm keeping those options. Preparation should be obviously for SRCC and Stephens. Now Stephens also says 15% is there for interview. So you need to be good at almost everything. In spite of doing great in English, great with economics, great with mathematics, you are doing excellent with history. You are applying for a BA honors, St. Stephens, where 50% seats are reserved for Christians. My God knows what kind of number games they have. In 2013, they said the topper of the country, Sarthak Agarwal, will be in the waiting list. That's the most amazing thing St. Stephen is known for, as far as my memory is concerned of last 16 years of experience. But at the end of the day, they will still say 15% is there for the interview. So you have to be prepared for anything and everything. But digital reading is the key as far as the preparation strategy for CUET entrance is concerned. Sorry
Right.
for hijacking your
No,
conversation
absolutely.
between.
I think more than me, they are here to listen, both of you. So the less I speak, the more better. So, I mean, we are like towards the end of the session. I know 1 hour is never enough, but I want to know from all of you, all the attendees, like if you want to have another session for CVT, just let me know in the chat. I'll definitely plan another session for CVT, because I know that because of these competitive exams, 60 minutes is never more than enough. And I don't get the liberty of extending more, since there are a lot of constraints on me. So I cannot take that liberty of extending. Right. I thank you. I thank you. I really need all your feedback. Okay. So definitely I'll come up with more sessions. Let me just figure out with my busy panelist. I'll have to like get after them and take time, and I'll definitely plan. So you want both of them again on the panel? And but I want some different questions for the next session. If you are coming for the next CUET session. Okay, so no, Shubhangi, we cannot get him to repeat. The video is there on YouTube. Okay, so just scroll back on the channel and get to know all things, because they have discussed it. We cannot take that same question. But before we wrap up, we'll take last 1 or 2 questions. Okay, don't worry, we'll just take. I cannot take all of your questions. I know there are a lot of you, there are a lot of questions, but there is a limit to me, and there's a limit I can post on them. So I'm launching a poll, okay, and after that I'll take 1 or 2 questions before we wrap up. So while you are filling up this form, which is very, very important, I really want to know your feedback for this session. And if you want to have more of CUET sessions, I'll definitely will plan up in the coming weeks. Definitely, I am going to take that. And I'll look, I'm getting after these 2 panel, because I know you have loved their session and you have a lot of queries still unanswered. So I'll try and get hold of them again. So they're here. So probably I'll get another session with them. Okay. So meanwhile, you're filling up the form. I'll quickly select, sir, some of the questions that I can, within this time. So firstly, one important question: will this exam be online or offline? Anubhav sir, will you like quickly answer this?
I think the moment we said that digital reading is the most important key as far as attempting the questions is concerned. Digital means it is an online entrance based. And the moment you talk about slot 1, slot 2, the moment you talk about the disparity of the technology, the facilities in this country, I think technology will definitely make sense, because everyone will have their own apprehensions that, because slot 1 and slot 2 might not happen on the same day for all the individuals. And if it most likely it will not happen on the same day, and if it is not happening on the same day, it will become extremely it will be a logistical nightmare to do it on offline. Obviously NT has been there are questions where people are asking, will this be a seamless technology? Because when people apply for 50,000 applications for CLAD, they have server breakdowns, they have technology breakdowns. But then we should also look at the positive side of it, that 15,94,000 people apply for medicine as a course, and the same testing agency is doing that as well. And 9.5 lakh people have been doing a JEE entrance exam. Again, the same testing agency is doing that. So you just be prepared for everything and be positive about it. It's an online paper.
Okay, coming quickly to the next question, just trying to solve that out. One of the students says that I have already got admission into a college. So should I now sit for CUET or not? Parisa, if you would like to take that.
I think you have to plan up your career in a very smart way. And, there are times when you can withdraw your admissions from other colleges as well. So if you make it, I mean, I would say there is no harm in sitting for CUET, right? It'll be a good attempt. It'll be a good thought process. It'll always, so learning never goes waste from my side. So in fact, I run a college of my own. We have a lot of students. And in fact, just for the surprise of all, but our university will be hosting the exams in the city anyway. And most likely we'll be one of the centers as well for the NTA testing exams. So, it is okay to actually apply to multiple colleges. It's just a matter of small amount of, cost that you probably have to think about. So yes, have backup options. So yes, CUET, if you crack the exam and if you make it to the best college or your dream college and dream university, then why not withdraw your admission from the other university? As per law, as per UGC requirements also, nobody can charge you the full fees and not refund you at all. So that has changed, so don't worry about the money paid. You can always, they could keep a small caution money, they can keep some amount of deposit, but they can't keep the entire academic fees. So except for the admission fees, nobody can hold back the rest of the fees for anyone. So as a law, please don't get so worried about, okay, somebody is asking for 40,000, 1,000 you have paid it, you don't get it back. You will get it back. We can't keep, as universities and institutions, we are not allowed to keep more than a minimal amount of registration fees, and that's about it. So it's okay to apply for it, see what CUET comes out with, and the other college remains a backup. So I am suggesting all the students who have even taken admission to my college to say, why not sit for CUET? At least try. You might get to a best college and you might get to a dream college. And if you've already got into a dream college, this should not be a question at all.
Right. I'll quickly move to another small question. Anubhav sir, probably we can help them out with this. They want to know how the total number of questions that they have to sit for the exam.
Okay, so the total number of questions to sit for the exam depends on the number of sections you've applied. Okay. So if you applied for 6 domain subjects, if you applied for 1 language, and if you applied for complete GAT, the question number will change. But if you applied for 3 domains, you applied for 1 GAT, and you applied for 1 particular language, the questions will change. So I'll just quickly summarize the entire discussion, what I had this earlier also. Your language will expect you to do about 40 questions out of 50. They will say 50 questions, 45 minutes, 40 odd questions. Each domain, which is a 45-minute paper, will expect you to do 40 questions out of 50. And general ability is about 75 questions, and the expectation is to do 60 out of 75. So I'm sorry, I'm just picking up a question which is again and again nagging on the chat box, which says political science. Anyone who's looking at pol science, please make sure that you are appearing for a CUET entrance exam and you're applying for Tata Institute of Social Sciences. Tata Institute of Social Sciences gives you a program called BA in Sociology, which is in Tujlapur, Guwahati, and Hyderabad. And this is one of the best colleges offering an undergraduate program. So all the humanities students, a quick knock. I think this is one particular college which what needs to be added in your kitty. I picked up this question because you have another 24 hours to 24 to 28 hours to do any correction you want to do. But all humanities student, quick, make sure that Tata Institute of Social Sciences be in sociology.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that quick information. And one last question, and we are wrapping up. So Sankalp had this question that his exams are ending on 2nd of June, and now they have to revise the entire class 12, along with the chapters that I probably think that have got deleted in the CBSE curriculum also. So probably what can they do? I mean, a lot of them have mentioned that a lot of syllabus part has got deleted from the class 12 syllabus. So like, how can they go about for the revision thing?
So syllabus is actually mentioned. I mean, are we trying to say the mapping of the syllabus? The syllabus is already there on the CUET Samarth website for every subject. So every student is advised to really pull out those sections. And if it is there, it has been deleted for you, but the books still exist. And the past year books are already there. Every material is already there. So don't get bogged down. So please understand, you have to map. So as Anubhav said, for economics, that's a just classic example that 11th standard syllabus is also included. So there are a couple of subjects and couple of topics which are there, and you have to look at the syllabus of that subject on the CUET Samarth website rather than just going blindly on NCERT books. So that is one very, very important thing. And then map it up. If a topic is there in NCERT but not there in your course, don't read that. If the topic is there in CUET but not in NCERT, pull out the books of the previous period or from some other source, and you'll have to get this material. This is the first year, yes. And I think this is just one piece of advice to all the students. Sure. See, understand that if it's a problem for you guys, it's a problem for everybody. For evaluators, for paper creators, it's just the first time for everyone, guys. Even for us, it's a first time. We have not done this before. Bhagyashree has not done this session before. So I think we are all doing it for the first time. So it's okay. Take it with a pinch of salt. It's all going to be coming fine. The problem that you're facing, everybody's facing the same problem. The syllabus, the problems, the material is all going to be the same challenge.
The joy of syllabus deletion was not so long.
Yes.
And just to make it a little, make it a little crisp, what Paresh said, if there is a problem, there is for all. And the most important part is it is a percentile based exam. It is not percentage based exam. Actually, the issue is as a 12th standard kid, we are so fascinated by those numbers, 98, 99, 97, 96.5, 98.5, 99.6 and so on. But if you look at an entrance exam, any entrance exam, if you are able to do about 70-75% paper, assuming the entire paper is correct, in this country, you will qualify for almost all the entrances. I repeat, almost all the entrances. If I'm able to do 75% of the paper, assuming the entire paper is correct, I'll be able to get through. So your preparation need not be a 99 on 100. Your preparation needs to be that 1 mark, which needs to be better than others.
Yes.
So instead of preparing for the 99, just see that you are better than others.
And I'll also mention, I can see a lot of people writing CUCET and not CUET. And there are multiple terms being used for CUCET, right? CUCET does not exist anymore. So if you look at the past paper of CUCET, the pattern is changed. They will get confused. So there are a couple of book publishers who actually release CUCET past papers, which are wrong. So that is not the pattern. So please don't study from that, number one. There is also Christ University entrance, which is also called
Chandigarh University.
Chandigarh University entrance test is also called CUCET. So please understand, this is not CUCET. This is CUET, which is different, which is a different pattern. So this is just a very humble request to all the students that please follow the right guidelines and the right syllabus and the right material, which will be very, very important. And you need guides and mentors to help you out. So don't try to do it all by yourself. You might probably end up doing something wrong.
Absolutely. And like on that note, I like to wrap up the session. But before we wrap up, one piece of advice from both of you, like quickly, we can have one piece of advice for you. So you like probably can go ahead with.
No, I think just stay calm. Don't get bogged down with all the mess around you. And I think just take it with a pinch of salt. Everything will come out. And, I believe in karma. So I think, do well, do your best and forget the rest. That's all that you're supposed to do. This is there in your hands. Do what you can do as far as your limited means, resources and abilities are concerned. Don't try to get everything and then miss out on everything. So just do what you can do best. Focus on the best, have faith in yourself. I'm promising you will come out beautiful in your life, if nothing else. So wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir, for that piece of advice. Anubhav, sir, your last piece of advice.
I think most of you are done with your board exams with respect to commerce without maths and science, and those math students are getting free on 7th or 8th of June. My single piece of advice is, even before you start your preparation, just evaluate yourself where you are, because this kind of a preparation or any entrance exam or any course or any curriculum is not about everything what suits to everyone. It is not an Excel shirt which will suit to 10 odd people. It is not a double Excel shirt which will suit to about 100 odd people. The first and the most important part is pick up a mock, give it. If you score 55 out of 100, it means your preparation needs to be for the next 45. If you score a 90 out of 100, your preparation needs to be the next 10 questions. And preparation of 45 questions versus preparation of 10 questions is absolutely different.
Right.
Even before you start, you might be a 0 on 100 in terms of your mock. It is absolutely fine, but at least you know that you need to cross 100 miles. And if I'm at 99, I need to see that I need to cross that 1 mile. But friends, one standard preparation module, one standard curriculum is not suited for all of you. And as Paresh said, it is happening for the first time. Believe me, you will write history.
Absolutely. So it was, I think, so much of valuable insights and information and advices. I'm sure all of them are so overwhelmed with all these things. But I think this was a very informative and interactive session, because I literally could not take, I think, more than 150 or 200 questions. I still have a long list. I cannot really take that, but I'm sure the session was useful to all of you. I hope we did, take in the most important parts of course, we cannot take in everything, but I think we tried to, skim it and narrow it down to the most important parts, the most important thing that you should know for CUET exam. And yes, I would plan another session soon. So don't worry, in coming weeks, I'll plan another session for CUET, and probably we can have more discussions. The detailed one that we missed out, probably we can cover in that. So just be prepared with your questions. I'll definitely plan another session. But lastly, Anubhav sir, Paresh sir, thank you so much for all that information. I mean, that was an amazing session. Thank you so much for all that information that you have shared.
You're doing a fantastic work, Bhagyashree. We are also proud. So a big kudos to you too. Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of Shiksha's webinars, and looking ahead for having more such webinars with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you everyone, students, and we'll definitely come up with more sessions.